Hey, um, I'm back in Washington, sitting in my room, and I am living with 7 other people. I think it's been 3 weeks. I think we're going on to the fourth week. It's been good so far. Specifically, I have been into sustainability, zero waste for probably going on 3 years now. And just the way that I have wanted to live, the lifestyle that I have wanted to do to implement, it was like I was just kind of restrained at home and I wasn't able to fully go to the lengths that I wanted to. So being here and having the freedom and autonomy to live the way that I want to has been so freeing and invigorating. Specifically, so every Saturday we've been going to the farmers market and getting our produce there. So nothing is packaged, everything is grown locally, everything is shaped kind of weird and colorful and just beautiful. So then I bring that home and I store all the leafy greens and cloves and all my like root stuff. I chop it up and put in water and in jars. Most of our cups are like jars from pasta sauce and curry and stuff that we've washed out and that's what we're using to like store food also. We haven't bought any paper towels. We've just been using um towels and rags. Yeah. I don't know. It's just it like sometimes if I think about it too much, I start to cry because it's what I've wanted to do for so long and like 3 years. And I know that doesn't sound like a long time, like in the grand scheme, but um, it feels really good. And just like getting to know everybody better has been really good. Feels really good. Decorating my room. I got the solarium, so windows from here. It's beautiful. The first week that we got here, we went to the skate park. Wes Sawyer and I, we went to Lake Whatcom, which I hadn't been to before. Growing up in the Midwest, like I'm just used to like fresh water and not really, salt water. And I prefer that, like fresh water over like pools or salt water. So like last year I went to a bunch of different like lakes and stuff just looking for just to meet my expectations, looking for like what I wanted. And most of the lakes that we went to like still just had that like bay feeling to them, like saltwater, just a very specific feeling. And so we when we went to Lake Whatcom, it was like exactly what I was looking for. And the lake was mostly sand and the water was kind of chilly, but like it was warm on top and it was just like surrounded by mountains and trees. Yeah, it was exactly the feeling that I was looking for. And so it was so freaking exciting to find it because I like looked up lakes online and I went to like as many as I could find. And I was just like, frick, like are all these lakes gonna be um just like saltwater and bay water like feeling? Um, but yeah, we went to this one and we also went to Whatcom Falls, I think last week, and mwah, beautiful. I went there last year and it's just like a stream with like different like waterfalls on it. And we ended up going to like a different like section, a different like swimming hole. Um, but and there were like there were rope swings there and West was like the first one to use it and there were two of them. One of them was like really, really high, and you had to like walk up like onto the like dirt and like root hill to, and there were like fallen trees. Um, and it was really high up on the tree, and like a shorter rope like higher up, and it used like a ski like handle to like swing out. I couldn't reach that one, so I ended up using the one that was lower and just like the regular rope. And I ended up not going out far enough. Um, so when I fell, I sort of like tried to be like as flat as possible, so that way I wouldn't go like too deep. And I ended up like hitting a root a little bit and getting kind of like a bruise, but it could have been way worse. But yeah, that was really fun. That was me, West, Sawyer, Avery, and Cameron. That was really fun. I hope to go back. But yeah, so being in Washington this last week, we have been affected by the smoke from Oregon, California, Utah, all that good stuff. So for the past week, on top of like quarantining and like only going to the grocery store and like the farmers market to get food and necessities, we also were trapped inside. So those first 2, 3 weeks of just like fun activities, skating, walking, swimming, just like boom, came to an end. And it kind of sucked because I feel like I lost like that end of summer, like because we were trapped inside, and so now it's going into fall and the weather is cooler, trees are turning, and it's so beautiful, and I'm so freaking excited for fall. I thought about it, and like the last couple years I haven't really like had like friends that I was like super close with, and like everybody was like, yeah, here we are. So I sort of like lost, and also just like sort of misogyny, like making fun of women and girls for liking fall. I know you know what I'm talking about. Pumpkin spice latte, like the sweaters and like the high boots, and yeah, but just sort of like taking just like thinking about that in my head and like thinking about like the internalized shit that I got going on and being like, okay, no, I really like fall. When I was a kid, Halloween was my favorite holiday, because my dad would turn our garage into a haunted house. He would like put up walls and like all the stops. And so all the kids in the neighborhood would like come by trick or treating and go through the haunted house. And it was so much fun. But yeah, I'm just so excited this year. It's like been so beautiful. The trees like are just starting to turn, and like the mountains and the landscape. School starts on Wednesday. It's currently Sunday. So that's kind of weird. Just like, I don't know. Things have been so weird. Like with quarantine, um, when things started like picking up and like Washington, like Seattle was like a hub, like towards the beginning. And there was like, I just kept being like, everything's fine. Like I'll stay here and like it'll be fine, you know? My window, like at school in the dorms, was pointed like towards this like service road and then this like few like parking spots. And so I just kept, and at this point, I think Sawyer was visiting Natalie in Portland. So I was just alone, and I was like looking out the window, and people just kept pulling up and loading up their cars and leaving. And that was really intense and sort of like freaked me out. I was like, okay, maybe something's happening here. And my parents called like that we had been in touch, and like they were definitely more freaked out than I was. And they were like, we think we should get you out of there before like they close state lines and you won't be able to get out. I really didn't want to go home. And it was like it was spring break. It was like a few days before spring break, and I had like already finished my finals at that point. So I just like was contacting people, and I was like, can I get a ride to Seattle like today or tomorrow? Just anybody I could think of, like posting shit places. And just packed my backpack with just like clothes and like toiletries, like literally like 3 outfits, including the one I was wearing. Flew home, and then spring break came and passed. I left my laptop at school because I was so optimistic that I was gonna come home. I was gonna come back, which rained to be a problem once spring or yeah, spring semester started. So I had Sawyer was in the area. He went back. Yeah, once we got like news that nobody was going back to school in person, him and Natalie went back to our dorm and packed up his side, mailed me my laptop. Yeah, being home was really, really hard. I just like my last year of being in Illinois. I didn't really have any friends senior year. I just was uncomfortable and I just really wanted to get out. And then I did, and it was even better than I could have imagined. I made my friends, Sawyer and Avery, instantly, like the first day I was there. So grateful for. Um, and we were just together after that, like we did everything together. The things that I was like, the experiences that I was having, it felt so good. And I was working on myself and growing and becoming the person I wanted to be. And then everything went to shit and I just got ripped out. My room was exactly how I left it. But, I think I allowed myself the rest that I wanted and that I needed. But I also worked on myself and did things that I wanted to. There's no perfect way to exist when the world is ending. It felt like forever, like summer break. And then it really picked up and it was almost here. It was almost time to drive back. And then it felt like forever again, like those last few days. And it's gonna be my birthday in a week. I'm gonna be 20. That's crazy. Um, I'm like afraid of aging. I'm afraid of like no longer being a teenager and sort of becoming irrelevant. I feel like so much of our media is targeted and about like teenagers. Like, oh my god, every other song you hear is like, she was 17. And I was like, fuck, like, I didn't do a single thing when I was 17. Like, I was lame and I went to school and I did what I was told, and that was it. Um, and I guess I'm just like nervous that I wasted my teenage years. And I know that sounds so stupid. No, I'm not gonna qualify what I'm saying. Um, yeah, and I'm just scared that once it's over, like I'll be like I didn't do anything. And also just so much of our culture is centered around youth, and once you get older, like you don't mean as much as someone who's younger. I'm working on it. Last quarter, I took a gerontology class, which is the study of aging, and I definitely like learned a lot from it. There's a book that I still want to read that we like touched on. I've been reading a lot, which is exciting. Reading like takes a lot out of me, so I'm trying to like pace it well and allow myself to take time to read the book because not everybody just flies through it, and it's okay if you do. And it feels really good like reading and learning. I'm just nervous that like all of this motivation is gonna go away once it's like someone else telling me what to read, like when to finish. I'm hopeful that this quarter goes well. I'm grateful for the space that I'm in. I'm grateful for the people who I share it with. I'm grateful for everything around me, for who I'm becoming, for the resources and opportunities that I've had and that I will continue to have. I'm grateful for connection. It's beautiful, it's unlike anything. For music, for food. I've been like branching out what I've been eating and intentionally cooking. I've been like really lonely. And I like told everybody about this, but it's just kind of weird like being in a house of 8 people and feeling lonely. I think I'm just like looking for a type of intimacy that like friends can't provide. And it's freaking hard to like find a significant other when you're in quarantine. And it's weird, like I feel like I have just really conditioned myself to view looking for a significant other like really negatively. Like I feel like it's something that should just like happen to you. Um and like looking for one, I don't know. I guess I just saw it kind of like gross and like weak. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the way like society makes women feel. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks for listening. Room tour soon. Like and subscribe.